Welcome to the Belated Tech Channel's 76th edition and second year of the Tesla and SpaceX Redux. We are reviewing the milestones that occurred on each day in the week of February 14th to February 20th in the history of Tesla, SpaceX, and the other Musk-affiliated businesses. February 14th, 2014. CNBC reported near this date that Adrian Perica, Apple Inc.'s head of mergers and acquisitions, met with Tesla CEO Elon Musk in the spring of 2013. The implication was that Tesla sought either an acquisition by Apple of the electric car company, or perhaps a significant investment. Tesla was starved for cash during 2013, while it ramped up Model S production and overcame technical problems. Google had just declined an offer to buy Tesla for $11 billion, and Musk was seeking another suitor with deep pockets. Solid sales numbers in 2013 and 2014 put Tesla on an even footing, and the company escaped its cash squeeze. However, the 2013 meeting was not to be the last time Apple was offered a deal to buy Tesla. During 2017, Tesla's difficulties in releasing the Model 3 spurred Musk to ask for a meeting with Apple CEO Tim Cook. Musk intended to ask for $60 billion for Tesla, or about 7% of its value in the first quarter of 2022. Cook refused the meeting. Apple's own EV project, codenamed Titan, is ongoing. If an electric car is produced, it is not expected to be launched before 2028. February 15th, 2017. Elon Musk tweeted plaudits to a plucky German driver who used his Tesla sedan to stop another car with an unconscious driver on this date. Manfred Kick was driving north on the Bundesautobahn 9 outside of Munich when he noticed a Volkswagen Passat driving erratically ahead of him. Kick sped up his car and pulled along the Passat and found the driver slumped over the wheel, apparently unconscious. Kick took a risk and pulled his Model S in front of the Passat to let it hit his rear bumper. He then pushed his brake continuously until he was able to stop both cars on the road. He then pulled the unconscious man from his car and laid him on the ground in a position so that the man did not choke on fluids that were running out of his mouth. Emergency services arrived and determined that the man had suffered a stroke. The man survived. Musk later offered to repair Kick's Model S at no charge. Pundits estimated that the damage to both the Tesla and the Volkswagen would add up to about $10,000. February 16, 2021. The Starlink 19 60 satellite payload was lifted to orbit by a SpaceX Falcon 9 B5 rocket, Booster 1059, from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station's Launch Complex 40 on this date. A failure of one of the 9 engines on ascent caused the booster to fail during its return to land on a drone ship. The landing failure broke SpaceX's longest streak of 24 landing successes. Booster 1059 was on its 6th flight. A hole in a heat-shielding engine cover, which likely developed through fatigue, allowed recirculating hot exhaust gases to damage one of the Merlin 1D first-stage engines, causing it to shut down early during ascent. The remaining 8 engines took up the load from the shutdown engine, and the Falcon 9 second stage successfully deployed the 60 Starlink satellites to orbit. The fairing recovery ships, Go Mistree and Go Mischief, were used for the last time to catch the fairings, after which SpaceX retired the fairing catching program in favor of wet recovery. Enjoying our content? We issue new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe so you stay current. Subscribing is free, and we encourage you to browse our 350 plus video library, where you can find more milestones installments for every day of the year, as well as tech documentary segments, current events in space exploration, science and technology, gameplay recordings, reviews of tools and equipment, and reviews of small electronics and appliances. Each video is tagged with an alphanumeric indicator in the title, so searches for particular segments are quick and easy. February 17, 2020. The Starlink 4 60 satellite payload was lifted to orbit by a SpaceX Falcon 9 B5 rocket, Booster 1056, from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station's Launch Complex 40 on this date. The booster failed to land on a drone ship due to incorrect wind data. It was the first time a flight-proven booster had failed to land. Booster 1056 was on its fourth flight. It was the fourth operational and fifth large batch of Starlink satellites. The launch used a new flight profile which deployed into a 132-mile by 240-mile elliptical orbit instead of launching into a circular orbit and firing the second stage engine twice. The Starlink constellation was 9 months from offering beta service to North America. February 18, 2020, Space Adventures, the company that brokered trips to the International Space Station with Roscosmos for 7 private citizens between 2001 and 2009, announced an agreement on this date with SpaceX to launch up to 4 space tourists by mid-2022. The flights will not visit the ISS, but will rise instead to a record-high orbit, enjoying a view of Earth that has not been seen since NASA's Gemini and Apollo astronauts in the 1960s and 1970s. Space Adventures chairman Eric Anderson said, quote, "Creating unique and previously impossible opportunities for private citizens to experience space is why the company exists. This Dragon mission will be a special experience and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, capable of reaching twice the altitude of any prior civilian astronaut mission or space station visitor." Have you agreed with our choices, or do you think there are other events in space and tech history that are better? Go ahead and share with us by dropping a comment below. If you have suggestions for other space and tech milestones, let us know. We'll credit milestones we pick for future videos to those viewers that post them. And don't forget to click the bell notification icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. February 19th, 2017. The CRS-10 resupply mission C-112 Dragon capsule was lifted to the ISS by SpaceX Falcon 9 FT rocket, Booster 1031, from the Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A on this date. The booster successfully returned to a ground pad. It was the first Falcon 9 flight from the historic Launch Complex 39A launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center, and the first uncrewed launch from that complex since Skylab in 1973. The flight carried supplies and materials to support ISS Expeditions 50 and 51. It was the third return of a booster to a landing pad at Cape Canaveral Landing Zone 1. February 20th, 2013. Elon Musk tweeted on this date, quote, "Enough sour grapes from the New York Times automobiles editor James Cobb and a few others to start a winery. Can we just bury the hatchet and move on?" Musk was referring to the February 8th, 2013 hit piece on the Model S, written by Times reporter Jim Broder, in which Broder criticized the car's cold weather range and charging options. Car logs later showed that the reporter had lied about key facts in order to support his conclusions. Times public editor Margaret Sullivan admitted in the days after Broder's Model S review was published that the article featured, quote, "not especially good judgment and imprecise note-taking. Nevertheless, the Gray Lady closed ranks and denied Tesla's accusation of bias in the article. The paper never issued a retraction or correction." Cobb bristled at Musk's tweet. He tweeted back, quote, "Calling Broder's account of his Model S experience fake was over the line and impugned the reputation of a good man and a consummate pro." Broder's career at the Times continued unruffled, and he was named to the paper's editorial board in 2018. Musk later signaled his continued disgust with media outlets by closing Tesla's public relations department in 2020. In 2022, Tesla is the only major vehicle manufacturer without one. On February 10th, 2022, SpaceX conducted a public update of the Starship program at the company's Boca Chica starbase in Texas. During the presentation, CEO Elon Musk announced that a Starship and Super Heavy booster prototype would be ready to make an orbital launch in March, as long as the FAA approved Boca Chica as a site for such launches. On the other hand, there would be likely a 6 to 8 month delay in that launch if the FAA required a full environmental impact review of Starship launches at Starbase, as the company would be forced to shift prototype testing to its launch site at the Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A in Florida. If that happened, Musk said the company would probably bring most activity other than research and development to a halt at Boca Chica, ending the economic boon for Brownsville and South Texas, and perhaps ending Texas's ambitions in participating in the upcoming commercial space race. Regardless of the FAA's decision, Musk said that SpaceX expects to use the Kennedy Space Center as a major launch site for Starship and is building a facility there to manufacture the spaceship. Additionally, offshore platforms will also serve as launch sites, with SpaceX currently converting 2 oil rigs into such platforms that could be moved as needed. We covered the purchase of those rigs in Milestones 57. SpaceX is presently in a crash program to produce Starship engines, the latest version of which is called the Raptor 2, and hopes to be manufacturing 7 a week by the time the FAA hands down its report at the end of March. A single Super Heavy booster requires 29 to 33 Raptor 2 engines, and the Starship will require 6 to 9. The FAA could theoretically prevent SpaceX from using the Kennedy Space Center for Starship commercial flights as well, as the current configuration of Starship and the Super Heavy booster differ somewhat from the original design on which the company's FAA license for Florida was based. The Biden administration has been openly hostile to Musk and SpaceX for several reasons, among them a lack of union support, aggressive lobbying by legacy space industry players heavily invested in the Artemis program, legal maneuvering by competitor Blue Origin, owned by Jeff Bezos, who also owns the politically influential Washington Post, and a lack of political interest in human space exploration in favor of climate change policy. Will the administration cut off the US's nose to spite its face? We'll keep you posted. We hope you enjoyed this 76th episode of Beta Tech's Tesla and SpaceX Redux. If so, click that like button. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, or just stay in touch by following us on our microblogging accounts, which are listed below, the community feed for this channel, our Instagram feed, and our Minds page. We announce all new videos and post some unique content on those outlets. And if you prefer an alternative video distribution source, consider visiting our channel on Rumble. Thanks for watching.